Okay, so we'll just have another look at this one, and we'll pay attention to APM and see if I can learn from something. If I'm not learning anything, I'll just skip it. Okay, I'm just gonna be watching his camera and his cursor for now. I don't know what I'm gonna see. If any of you have concerns about your APM, it's like, let me know in chat, and like, let me know what I'm looking out for. Okay, so one of the differences I'll notice first here is I produced a constructor out first, because I know it takes us units time to cross the map. Like, okay, we can't really learn anything about APM this early into the game, so I'm just gonna speed it up and wait till battles start happening. But yeah, there's that point about, because I go for that constructor first, I can also use my resources faster. He's also done a lot of stalling, so that puts him slightly behind in resource usage. Let's get rid of that so I can adjust the speed. Okay, now let's look at his camera and his cursor. Okay. Right. Do you have groups? I know Therxyy isn't watching this, but question for you when you watch this is, do you have groups? And do you use groups to group these? Because what you could have done is grouped your pawns 1, 2, and 3 when you were doing that, and you wouldn't have to take your cursor to select them and change their order. I don't do that as much as I could, but it saves you time if you have difficulty selecting units, which it kind of looked like you did. Okay, it also looked like you were trying to just stay on the other side of the constructor there. Something I'd note here is you've had a chance between engagements. Pull your army back for a second maybe, look at your base, and then go forward. Don't send your army forward, then look at your base. Pull your army back, because what you've done right there is you sent a pawn in, and then you looked away. Don't do that. The pawn will die without doing nearly as much as it could. If you're gonna look away, retreat the pawn. That gives you a chance to look away to your base, and then you can look back towards the front. Like, that's... Like, there are some exceptions to when you might not do that. But generally speaking, and especially this early into a game where a single pawn or grunt loss is a huge difference, make sure you're watching every single engagement, and make sure there can't possibly be an engagement happening while you're not watching. That's really powerful. You didn't have to stop running there, just keep running past. And take out the metal extractor because it's more impactful than a wind generator this early into the game. What you've also just done there is you've visibly noted there's a commander on one side and there are grunts on the other. You're trapping your pawns in there. So if I'm not going to chase you, that means I already know you're dead. Oh, you are in the chat. You never like to pull your army back to macro because then I feel like I missed something. Right. But you're losing something. You're losing something by sending it forward and looking back. Yeah. I mean, generally what you're devoting your time to, it's like how zoomed out you are is very good because you're having very good awareness around the map. You're dedicating your time. I wouldn't have stopped worrying about that. There's a fight just happening right there. Don't look away from that. Because what's going to happen there, I think, is you're going to lose like 5 pawns to 3 grunts. Or something. Okay, no, it's 5 to 4. And a metal extractor. You could have chased me up the hill there, and you could have got the kills. And if you'd have just held back on the fight on the front line, that would have been better for you, I reckon. And you could have zoomed out to do that so that you had vision on the base army the entire time. And just do a crude, like, retreat order into the corner. And then you can deal with it again later. Because it's fine to miss an opportunity to kill me. Well, I mean, of course it depends on the scale of the opportunity we're talking about. But in a game like this, the opportunities are roughly equal. And so it's fine to miss an opportunity to kill me. Because in order to remove an opportunity for me to kill you, I would say that's better. Especially if it's an opportunity like cornered grunts, like that doesn't happen often. You want to take that advantage while it's gift wrapped and in your base. And then you can think about creating advantages on my side of the map separately. Because if you miss an opportunity, we remain even. But if you give me opportunities by you taking opportunities, or by you trying to see if there's an opportunity, that's the thing. Because if you give me an opportunity for a chance of an opportunity, that's probably bad. Like, you have to be sure that you're going to do as much damage as I'm going to do to you. Otherwise, wait. You can see if there's an opportunity later, and maybe I've closed it up, but you can wait, deal with the fight that's happening right now, and then go and try to do something else. Because a lot of the units you lost were just units you weren't paying attention to that went into battle and went into a bad battle that you didn't even know was a bad battle because you didn't look at it. And that's how I ended up killing 10 units and losing 5 with like a 200% damage efficiency. And that's huge at that point in the game. You can't afford that. And your micro is reasonably good. When you're focusing on the micro, there's not a 200% damage efficiency difference between us. You're pretty good at your micro. Just make sure you're actually microing and you're actually paying attention to these fights.